Man, I was not expecting this set to come out in English, but I'm glad that it did. Here's that Jojo deck that I said I was going to release about 2 years ago, I think, when Jojo came out in Japanese. This deck is the 8-door build. It features the Jotaro, which I did make a whole video on. Link at the top if you haven't checked it out yet. This deck is super fun, and I would recommend it as a fun side deck. The main focus of this deck is to maintain hand size for your level 3 Jotaro. You use support cards to assist in grabbing that Jotaro and keeping your hand nice and filled. You're not super worried about your stock. You only need 2 stocks to get this combo going. Granted, you need 3 specific cards in the climax as well as a full hand. But other than that, you are good to go. So let's get started with our level 0s. Card sleeves are very important. That's why we're using the Grisaya ones. Ooh! I'll get this video age restricted. Now, my main level 0 line is all support. Here is Passionately Cool Jotaro. He is the center runner at the start of your opponent's attack phase. And when this is sent from the stage to the waiting room, you ditch a card, top check up to 4, add a level 1 or higher card, you ditch the rest. It's really, really solid, and it does increase your deck speed. You know what you're getting, the level 3 Jotaros. All Consuming Flame Avdol states, on play from hand, you could pay 1, ditch 1, top check 3, add a card, ditch the rest. So that means you could grab climaxes as well as your Jotaros. And on play from hand, you ditch a character, draw a card. Super, super, super solid. Favorite Cherry Kakouin, amazing scene, is on play from hand. You could top check 2 cards or rearrange them in any order. So you know what you're going to be working with this turn, and you can plan your attacks accordingly or activate your brainstormers. And on play from hand, you can pay 1, ditch 1, drop salvage, and then you give a character 1k power for the turn. Great power boost. Salvaging is super good in this deck because you're going through your deck quite a bit. Joestar Family Heritage Jotaro is on play from hand. Put the top card of your stock to your clock. Call a cost 0 character whose level is equal to your current level onto the stage in any position. And during this card's battle, when damage you receive is canceled, you can stock this card. You run it for its first effect. If you're missing a level 1 combo card to Tri-Field, or if you want your Brainstormer, you could call it straight from the deck. And also the cost is from your stock, so you're removing the possibility of clucking a climax. Unless the top card of your stock was a climax. But at that point, you're keeping your stock clean. ORA Rush Jotaro and SP states that on play from hand, top check your deck. If it's a character, this card gains 2k power and act. Pay 1, pop this card. Salvage the 3-2 Jotaro. You mainly run it for its second effect, but this is also your level 0 beater. To save her father, Jolene and SO has experience. At the start of your climax phase, if you're experience 3 or more, you give a character 1k power for the turn. And she is a salvaging brainstormer. I run it at 3 because I can call her straight from the deck from the other Jotaro. And that is actually the play that we go for if we are missing this card. Now, my personal favorite level 0 is this card right here, the strongest power ever, Neo. When this card is reversed, you can put the top card of your deck to your clock, you cigarette. That is super solid. And if you're trying to mill out your deck, you could do this during your opponent's turn as well. You could either crash it or let them run it over. It's a damn good card. Also, you will always have cost because it's from the top card of your deck to your clock. Now, there is a certain combo that we are running, but we are going to get to that like when we talk about our level 2s. If you know this set, you probably know what I'm talking about. We are off to our level 1s. The only way Jotaro is a climax swapper and a level 1 bomb. Pretty self-explanatory. But then we do run Reliable Ally Kakouin. He states that if all of your characters are stand or stand users, which is the set trait, this gains 2k power. And when this card attacks a level 2 character, this gains 6k power. So it's going to be a 5k5 base with another character and 11k5 power if it battles a level 2 character. And its other effect is, if this card is in the waiting room, when you play this Jotaro from your hand, you could ditch a card, call this card. So you could play the Climax Swapper, ditch a card that you don't need or that you can't run at the time, and you could call this card from the waiting room. What is unfortunate is that this card cannot use itself as cost. It has to be in the waiting room when you play this card, and then the effect will activate. That is unfortunate, so we can't cheese it out like that. So again, this has to be in the waiting room. You play this, you ditch a card, call this from your waiting room onto the stage. Now, like I did mention, you go through your deck really fast, so this is most likely going to be in your waiting room. Super nice effect to fix your hand as well as fill up your board. Here's Victory in Hand, Polnareff, and SC. During your turn, this gains 3k power if you have another character on board, and Climax combo. On reverse with Sadness of Losing a Friend, which is this card right over here. You can ditch a card, search 2 cards. The Climax is a 1k1 and a door when triggered. It is an on reverse combo, boo, but it is going to be at 8k power. Yay. So if you can't run over stuff, use the level 1 bomb. And if they're at level 2, play the Kakuin. I haven't played a game where I couldn't reverse, so that actually hasn't been an issue. There have been times where I've been denied it, but power-wise, I've been pretty good. Either way, you ditch a card, search 2. How I use the combo is that in a tri-field, so if we tri-field, play the climax, you would swing, trigger, reverse, ditch a card, search 2. Now you would get a card you want and a card to ditch. You swing, you trigger, you ditch one of the cards that you grab that was the trash one, search 2, swing, trigger, ditch your extra trash card, and then search 2 cards that you need. In total, you are going to be plussing 3 because of the searches and the ditches, but you are thinning your deck out by 6 cards, not counting your triggers, which will make it 9 cards out of your deck, setting you up for some cancels during your opponent's turn. It's a super solid card, but again, it is on reverse. There are some ways you could be denied. Needless to say, grab your missing Jotaros. We are going to cover the backups really quick. So we have these 2 right here. This is a memory counter. This is an anti-early drop. All right, moving on. Here is the 0/0 green baby. That is what it's called. I'm not just calling it that. This is act, rest a card, give a character 1k5 power for the turn. And also on play from hand, you could ditch a card. Search your deck for 14 Phrases Father Pucci. That card is on play from hand. Choose up to 2 gravity control SMs from your waiting room and place them to the bottom of your deck. And then act, fusion. Marker the green baby to this card. You search your deck for a gravity control SM and you put it on top of this card. Shuffle your deck. You're essentially XC summoning. You play the baby, ditch a card, search the father, play the father, get gravity control from your waiting room. If it's in there, toss it to the bottom of your deck. You XC summon, call that exact one that you sent back into your deck on the board. Everybody gets a marker. And then you shuffle your deck. Now, this is a 2/2 with 2 soul and a soul when triggered. If all of your characters are stand users or stand, this gains 3k power, which again, it's every card in the deck. Even the baby, actually. So at base, it's going to be at 10k power with another character. And when this card's battle opponent is reversed, if there's a marker underneath this card, you could pay 1 salvage. What is great is that you can call this out at a level 1 and it will be at 10k power. You swing heavy and you can salvage. The salvaging is actually cross turn. So if your opponent crashes into this, you could pay 1 to salvage. Now, this is an important tidbit because you do not really care about stock at your level 3. Using the salvaging to stock up your hand and use 2 soul to rush your opponent in damage. Super quick onto your other level 3s. Knightly Spirit Polnareff is a 2 or less climax early play, and you do cycle through your deck super fast, so you are going to meet that condition. If you do not have another character, this card cannot stand. And on play from hand, choose a character in your clock, send it to the bottom of your deck. The healing is actually not that good, but this is at 11k body base and an early play, so we can excuse it. Lastly, we have Unearthing Spirit, Kakyoin, and HG. This gains 2k power if you have 2 or more other characters, and on play heal, and on attack ditch 2, Icy Tail 4, burn equal to the amount of climaxes milled. I never run this card, honestly. Toss it in your level zone for the Jolene Brainstormer. And finally, the star of the show, Star of Hope, Jotaro and Star Platinum. This states on play from hand, pop one of your other characters, heal to stock, and climax combo at the start of your attack phase if you have Destiny of the Joestar family in play, which is this one right here. So 1k1 and a door. If this card is the only card in your front row, this gains 11k power and the falling ability for the turn. Real quick, yes, it's at 22k because of the climax. At the end of this card's attack, you could ditch 2 copies of itself, ditch 4 cards from your hand, so your entire hand is gone, burn 1 7 times, then burn 7. The climax is a 1k1 and a door when triggered. Here's the base rarity version. Like I mentioned, go watch the previous video about my thoughts on this card, but super quick, this card is flavorful. Holy shit. Like I mentioned, you need a full hand and you need 3 copies of this card in your hand at the start of your turn. There are a lot of ways to search this card, a lot of ways to salvage this card. Your stock does not matter. You only need 2. And you gain an extra stock if you play this card. Use that stock to get this card if you don't have it yet. If you played your cards right, no pun intended, you will have the climax, 3 copies, and 4 extra cards at the draw or clock phase. You want your opponent at level 3 before you get this combo off. You have your early plays and your gravity control C-Moons. Wait, hold up. SM, shit, sorry. I don't want to get in trouble with the wrong name. To rush your opponent to level 3. Burn 1 7 times is potentially deadly. Those are single instances of damage. That is not counting the swing that you are going to be doing. Now, this does have 22k power. The power boost backups are not going to work against this. The burn 7, all right, let's be honest, it's probably not going to land. You could probably snag a refresh point out of it, but with my month of running this deck, it has yet to land. Either way, going ora is super satisfying. There we have it. Is this deck good? Oh God, no. Play the Jolene if you want a good deck. If you do combo and you do not win, you are going to have no hand and 1 character on board with 2 open lanes. Pray to Shioko that your opponent overswings. This deck is still very fun to play. And the look on your opponent's face when you do the combo is absolutely priceless. It is definitely a flavorful deck and a very fun one as well. So let me know what you think of this deck. Let's do the Dio one next. Why not? Thank you all again, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.